December the 22nd, 2017. You're looking at the presidential order. I had it in a video last night, and the title is Executive Order Blocking the Property of Persons Involved in a Serious Human Rights Abuse or Corruption. Yesterday, by the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the U.S., including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Guys, this is important. The National Emergencies Act, the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act, and it goes on the Immigration and Nationality Act. Look at that. Now, they came in and they named a group of people from outside the United States, including Israel, Africa, around the globe. And what this was is, if you're tied to those, if you're a United States citizen, and you have any of the property tied to the people that are named in the annex, you are possibly about to get all your assets frozen. It's called the deep takedown of the deep state. Let's go over a small part of this before I get to the next section. It says, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, find that the prevalence and severity of human rights abuse and corruption that have their source in whole or in substantial part outside the U.S., such as those committed or directed by persons listed in the annex. And the annex is not here. I'll show you that. It says, to the annex of this order have reached such scope and gravity that they threaten the stability of international political and economic systems. Human rights abuse and corruption undermine the values that form an essential foundation of stable, secure, and functioning societies, have devastating impacts on individuals, weaken democratic institutions, degrade the rule of law, perpetuate violent conflicts, facilitate the activities of dangerous persons, and undermine economic markets. The United States seeks to impose tangible and significant consequences on those who commit serious human rights abuse or engage in corruption, as well as to protect the financial system of the United States from abuse by these same persons. I therefore determine that serious human rights abuse and corruption around the world constitute an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States, and I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with that threat. Now, when you're talking about a threat to national security and declaring a national emergency, I'm sure that somewhere in there military law can be in play or put in place. I hereby determine an order. Section 1, all property and interest in property that are in the U.S. that hereafter come within the U.S. or that are hereafter come within the possession or control of any United States person that is described further down as a citizen of the following persons are blocked and may not be transferred, paid, exported, withdrawn, or otherwise dealt in, completely frozen. And I'm sure that the government will take all of that. It's at number 1 now. This is who they're talking about, the persons listed in the annex to this order. I'm going to show the annex, but that's not all the people. That's just this Article 1, okay? Article 2, any foreign person determined by the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General. We're still dealing with the people in the annex and foreign people. A, to be responsible for or complicit in or to have directly or indirectly engaged in serious human rights abuse. Guys, think of not only child abuse, pedophilia, things like that, but think African gold mines, diamond mines, and the abuse that those people go through. It's basically slaves. Now, I'm not going to read all of it. I'll link to it. Most of you went through this last night and read it. But again, they're talking about people inside the United States and their ties to the foreign people that are listed in the annex to this executive order. Let's take a look at the annex just one moment. Now, it's listed at the Department of Treasury. It's not at the whitehouse.gov. This is at treasury.gov. And if you scroll down to this section here, let me pull it up just a moment. And it's dated here yesterday, 12/21/2017. The President has issued an executive order, that's what we were just reading, blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse and corruption. OFAC is currently releasing new facts related to this executive order, and the office is publishing the following designations. Office of Foreign Assets Control is handling this, but the following individuals, pull it up, have been added to the OFC's SDN list. This is the people that are automatically sanctioned, and anyone involved with these people. They're in alphabetical order. Now, I don't know who a lot of them are. Each one will be a different crumb, I'm sure, as it turns out. But one stuck out, and he's listed several times on this list, and he's an Israeli. His name is Dan Gertler. Okay? He's listed as living in Israel. He's also listed right here. And down the list, you keep going, you start getting into the diamond companies that are ripping the folks off in Africa. And he starts popping back up again. But let's see, let me pull it. DGD, right here is Dan Gertler Diamonds Limited. DGI Israel is Dan Gertler. DGI Mining, it goes on. Maxon Finance International, okay? Dan Gertler. See that? See on the end of all of this? It just keeps on going. That if you're affiliated with him, then your assets can be frozen, and that's what this is talking about. And I think it came directly because of what's been going on with our presidents and Secretary of State. But I'll pull the whole list down, and again, Gertler Family Foundation, and right there, that's the kicker. Okay, what's going to tie in the Clintons to this guy? I'm going to show you. It's that right there. But International Diamonds, Gertler, I mean, he's like the #1 man on the hit list. He's a billionaire. A lot of people have been dealing with him. And let's take a look at that. And this is where we corral them together, guys. It's called The Philanthropist in Africa. Now, the Clinton Foundations are supposed to be the same type. That hadn't worked out too good for people around the world, has it? Well, let me pull this down. Notice it is the Gertler Family Foundation right here. That's Dan Gertler. He's over there taking their diamonds and supposedly helping these people out. Look at the school, dirt floor and things like that. If these people that I'm going to show you on this list are really concerned about these kids, they would be in a lot better conditions than this. Now, let's look at two lists. Scroll this down. It'll give you a list of the foundations that are tied in with these folks, and another list of the philanthropists that give to it. First, the foundations. It shows them coming in. Gertler. Here's Liz Claiborne, Charles Stewart, Watsi, Huma, Surimu, Clinton Foundation. How about that, guys? Again, Liz Claiborne, Stephen Lewis, Bill and Melinda Gates. You're talking Microsoft. All right, the Gertler listed right here, but this is their page. This is their foundation, and these are all groups that give to it. They give to it. Bill Clinton, or Clinton Foundation is technically the Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation. Okay, that's how it's set up. And of course, everyone knows Mr. and Miss Vaccination Worldwide. And it's got the other groups here, African Foundation, but they're all tied back to Gertler. You see what we're talking about here? Now look at the individuals. These are foundations, but the people that give money, or say they give money, and you got a lot of different people here. Some of them may be on that list. I'm not going to go through all that right now. It would take all day and be a tremendous headache. Here's Gertler, but it's his foundation. And there's Slick Willie himself, right there. William Jefferson Clinton, Mr. Bill Gates, Francis Van Niekerk, don't know who that is, Mark Shuttleworth, Belinda Strzok, Arpad Busan. Some of you guys can tie some links into this, but the ones I was looking for are right here, right here. And that's tying all of this order into this international takedown, because they are all tied together. They cannot transfer assets back and forth now to try to hide them, and there's going to be a takedown. Take the money, you take them down, because that's all they were in it for. Greed and Luciferian doctrine, which is more evil than the greed. But they're both bad because they take advantage of people. People have died. People have been to war. Our country's been sold out. But they're going down, guys. I just wanted to kind of put a couple of pieces of this puzzle together. This is a heads up. Be safe.